Good morning and happy Saturday. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to go live on this page. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Get my do not disturb on and pull myself up here on the Diva Designs page. The crowd goes wild. Welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. It is episode 2. And we're going to start, like I mentioned last time, we are going to be starting slow and easy. Hi, Veronica. We're going to be doing a giveaway. You must be present to win, so stay till the end. Stay till the end. Can I see comments? Hey, Charlotte and Barbara. Somebody just want to pop in a comment. There's one. Hey, Linda Baker. How are you, sweet friends? I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited that I'm able to go live. So 2 weeks ago, I tried to go live on this page. And because our page was still so new, we weren't able to. Hey, Laurel, how are you? So those of you who shared the release video, your names are in this adorable bag. And we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to give away one Diva Design stencil. But guess what? This is the best part. You get to choose. There's over 30 designs. So you may have already purchased the new designs, which are fabulous, by the way. And there's our retailer, Kim. She's in New Jersey. Yesterday's tomorrow's. You guys make sure you're following her. She does some amazing things. Adorable Audrey Top. Thank you so much. So you get to choose over 30 designs. You may already have some of the new ones. Maybe there's one that you've been eyeing that you haven't had a chance to purchase yet. So this may be your opportunity. So we're going to get started right away. I did a little bit of prep because I was doing a little checking. We're going to be doing, again, we're starting from easy projects. For those of you who have trouble stenciling, we're starting from easy projects and then starting to go, hey Donna, into some more advanced projects. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've done with multiple stencils. We're not going to do that today, but this is kind of what we're working towards. So you can see, mixed media is my jam, first of all. And I don't know that did I even introduce myself? I'm Mara LaFay from Vintage Retail Therapy by Mara, and I am the owner and designer and creator of Diva Designs. So this stencil here, just really paper transfer. We have our crackle stencil here. We have our harmony stencil here. And then we also have the honeycomb stencil on top of that. So you can see how by layering up your stencils, it gives you a unique, one-of-a-kind look. This piece we actually did live over 2 sessions on our page last night. Hey, Veronica. And this is 3 stencils as well. This is the classic border stencil. This is Nouveau. Hang on. I always forget the name. Classic Nouveau? Classic Nouveau. Classic Nouveau. Gosh, Mara, you would think I would remember. There's too many. It's easy to remember when there's only 2 or 3, but when there's like 30 of them. Hey, Sandy. So there it is there. And then here is the borders right here. Okay, this great mold right here. Actually, we do have castings, but my friend Kim from Yesterday's Tomorrow's, she is a Prima retailer. So you can contact her if you like this. And I added the little bird right in through there because I thought that was really, really cute. So that's what we're leading up to on this page. However, we're going to start slow and steady, nice and easy, because there's a bunch of ladies that kind of need to catch up with us, right? So that's where we're going. It is exciting. So I did a little bit of prep work. You know, a lot of the times you don't always want to start from scratch. So these boards I actually, good morning, Lynn and Lori and Jackie and Deb and Robin. You don't always want to start from scratch. Maybe you find something thrifting that you like already and you just need to zhuzh it up. Just a little bit, right? So this is what we're doing today. I purchased this actually just a few weeks ago at Hobby Lobby, so it is still available. I thought it really spoke to me. It says, I am God's masterpiece, and it's Ephesians 2:10. However, it needed a little zhuzhin, right? It needed the diva touch. So I'm actually going to cover up this one portion. But here's the thing. With some of, and I'm sorry, my camera is backwards. With some of the pre-made signs. Sometimes there is a coating on there that doesn't allow you to stencil really good, and they require a top coat so that your paint can kind of flow over them, and you don't always know which one that's going to be, good morning Tony, until you try it. So I just thought I didn't want to take a chance. Is this smearing? No, let me dry it. I didn't want to take a chance that would be the case with this particular board. So I did one little itsy bitsy corner, which is a good thing. Neo, thank you, Robin. Neo Victorian. I'm just going to dry it now. So sometimes on pre-made surfaces, you will need to top coat, okay? Just to say that. You don't always know. Is it a good idea to top coat anyway? It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. But again, we're just going to start slow and easy. We are probably going to combine 2 stencils, but it's not going to be anything crazy like the past, the one we did last night on our main page. So let me just dry this so I can move this along. So today we're going to be using the Baroque Corners stencil, which is from the new design. And originally I was going to use this piece here, and then I changed my mind this morning. Big surprise, right? My necklace of, thank you, Barbara. This is the one we made in our group. I think you probably remember that. A lot of my private group ladies are here. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Your support means everything. Changed my mind in pure Mara fashion. So we're actually going to be using this one. So I'm going to get the camera down without further ado. You can use any black paint. However, today I am using, what am I using? I pulled it out. Where is it? The Impasto or Alchemy Impasto paint. It is an acrylic paint, but any paint will work with stencils, just whatever it is that you're comfortable with. Let me get the camera down right there, and I think you can see. So I've already done one corner, and I think we are going to put a mold on the top. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Smash me up some hearts if that's a good viewpoint. All right, so I've done this one. We're going to go to the other corner, and I am using a 1 1/4 inch brush. If you have any questions, good morning, Robin. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and pop them in the comments. I am flying solo today. However, I will see them. I'm usually pretty good about seeing comments. I'm trying to put it in the exact same spot as I did on the other side. You know, sometimes it doesn't always work and sometimes it does. But if you know me and you've followed me for any length of time, I don't take myself that seriously, really. Right? This is not rocket science. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be therapeutic. Thank you so much for sharing and sprinkling. It so helps our page. And if you don't know if you're following the Diva Designs page, if you go ahead and just click on, I want to say if there's three little things there. It will tell you if you are following or not. I'm trying to see if that's right. It used to be right. Or if you click, I'm not even following from my other page. If you go ahead and tap on your screen, there should be a little thing there that says Diva Designs is live now with a follow button. And you can follow there. I would love for you to follow us. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming in. Can you believe I wasn't even following me from my other account? Shame on me. What a knucklehead. Hey, Karen. Okay, so I've got this tape down. Let me put, the view is perfect. Thank you, Debbie. Let me put another. I don't usually tape my stuff down. I don't. But you know what? It never fails. And I always have perfect stenciling because I offload. But it never fails when you're live sometimes how just stuff happens. So just in case, if you are not comfortable with not taping down and you have a lot of little persnickety pieces, you may want to use a stencil adhesive, okay? So I applied just a little bit of paint. Thank you, Mary. Mary loves all the new stencils. Offload, offload, offload. Offload, offload, offload. Offload, offload, offload. Just in case, if you didn't catch that the first 3 times. What did I say? Offload, offload, offload. The number one reason, thank you for following, is there's too much paint and or the wrong brush. Okay, not every stencil brush is created equal. I'm wondering if I have some crappy brushes around. I don't usually keep them for long. But if you've got a stencil brush and after a while, it looks like this, like it's not a good brush. Why? Because those areas that fan out like that will go underneath your stencil and cause you to get some bleed through. So a brush is really, really important. If you have a brush that fans out and you can't afford to replace it, that's okay. That's okay. What I want you to do, see, this one is kind of sort of starting, but it's not horrible, right? But you know what I mean. When they start doing this, oi, it's terrible. It is terrible. So what I want you to do, if you cannot replace your brush, go ahead and put tape around the bristles of your brush, any kind of tape, okay? And I want you to tighten, we do need an offload shirt, and I want you to tighten up those bristles, okay? Make them nice and tight so that they're not spreading and they're not going underneath your stencils. Of course, I'm doing this fast, but you guys get the point. Okay, can you see how that's nice and taut now? I'm out of stock. I don't think so, Robin. I don't think so, Charlotte, but I will check. You put a rubber band. That works great too, Maggie. That works great too. I will double check our inventory because I'm looking at them in that cabinet and there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of 1 1/4 and a bunch of 1 inch, but I will double check that. I will double check that. Thank you. And here's another thing. If you put a back in stock request on anything, you will get an email as soon as it comes back in. Hi, Anna. Debbie, thank you for sprinkling. Okay, so offload, offload, offload. You can see most of this paint. From the very first time I set my brush down to offload to this last time right here, can you see that little trail? Any suggestions? I love the ones that we carry, honestly. I am a bit of a stencil snob, to be honest with you. Everybody's preference is different, so I never want to tell anybody they have to use a certain thing, but just try it for yourself. But you'll definitely be able to see. All right, so there was my first offload, and there's my last offload. Now I know that I don't have a lot of paint on there. However, I am still going to start with a very light touch, okay? You can't be all manhandling your brushes, all right? So, and I do need to stand up. So I'm gonna start with a if you're not comfortable swirling, you can just do this, but I don't even know if I have enough paint. But you can see I'm doing a very, very light touch. Our stencils are 10 mil. They're a really great quality. And I'm just lightly just doing the little happy dance over them. Happy, 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 happy. Do, 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 do. Okay, just very, very, can you see I have very little paint? It's not blobbed anywhere. I do need to cover this though because I don't want to stencil that by accident. So if there's anything close to your stencil that you think you've used many brushes, the key is to clean them thoroughly. Yeah, not only the cleaning, but if you don't have a good quality brush, it is going to fan out on you, especially when you clean it. So you can see I have very little paint and I'm moving pretty quickly. It's always better if you want it to be a little bit darker to let it dry and build up with a second layer rather than just adding too much paint for the first layer. All right, so we're gonna let that dry just a minute. You're a swirler. I'm a swirler too. Kim loves a good happy dance. Me too, sister. Me too. All right, so let's just let that dry really quick. And then I think, and I'm typically okay if I don't have the same intensity of paint all over the whole thing. To me, it just makes it look a little bit more natural. So I'm adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more. I'm not adding more paint. I'm just going over it with the same brush. Easy peasy. Look at that. Everybody could do that. Every one of you could do that. All right. Lift straight up. There we go. Now let's move on to the other corner. Trying to get it in the same spot. And I think that looks about right. So I'm not adding any more paint just yet. Same dry brush. Same swirl. And I probably won't even add any more paint, to be honest with you. Because I do like it kind of lighter, on the lighter side. Let's move that. I know. There's my girl, Nicole. Hi, sweet friend. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go to this next side. You can see already how much better this board is looking. Again, you're using a pre-made surface. Sometimes they're a bit persnickety. Oh, and this has got some distressing on it already. I'm thinking I may do the sides too. I just don't know yet. So you want to make sure, I probably should have dried that a little bit so it doesn't smear anywhere. But that ship sailed. Okay. We've already got this down. And I don't think I'm going to be adding any more paint. Oh, and I need to move this over just a skosh. Un chipito, like my mama says. Because I want them to line up. I think I may be putting something in the center. And I want them to line up. Let's just throw another piece of tape. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I'm so excited to be here with you. Oh my gosh. Yours aren't that finely edged. Okay, ready? Still no more paint. I've still got plenty on this brush. Next time when I'm with you, we can either use, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. Should we do a raised stencil? Should we do a multicolor? Add more than one color on one stencil? I may want to go in with just a little bit more paint, but I'm thinking this probably will still be okay. Let me just let that sit for a minute. Let it dry just a bit, just a skosh. And this is what I'm talking about. You can see on this one stencil, there's actually 3 colors in there. There's 3 colors in this, so let me know in the comments what we should do. We won't be here next week, but we'll be here every other Saturday. Every other Saturday. We could do raised stencils. We can do stencils with shadowing. I'm here to serve you guys, so you tell me what you would like to see. Just let me know in the comments. I actually like it really, really light, to be honest with you. I kind of wish I'd done that on all sides instead of trying to add more. You would love to watch me do a raised stencil. Okay, Tony. Wendy says both. Stencil with shadowing. Okay. We can do that. All right, so now that I know I don't have a whole lot of paint on there, what I'm doing is now I'm applying just a little bit more pressure on my brush, okay? So you want to start off with a very light touch, and then as your brush starts getting all that paint off of your bristles, then you can go in with a little bit more pressure. So if you think about it, I only dipped my paint in my brush just one time. Missy's up for anything. Hey, Sister Debbie. So light touch at first, then you get your touch a little bit heavier. You don't have to keep, for the love of Pete, don't keep adding more paint. First of all, let's just dispel this. People think if I offload, I'm wasting paint, okay? You're not. What's going to be a waste is if you mess up your project, right? So now that I don't have as much paint, I'm going back in, now that I know it's dry, and I am applying a little bit more pressure on my bristles. And I'm actually okay with that. There you go. So now all we've done is used the Baroque corners to a pre-made sign and added them all the way around. Okay, so that already looks better, but we're not done. We're not done. Here's my thing. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm okay with it like this, to be honest with you. I'm not mad at it like this, but do we want to add a little something in here? I do have a mold. I have 2 molds that I was undecided on. When this live is over, I'm going to get a stencil, shying away from this for a while. Who said that? Is that my Donna? Okay. We can add the heart. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Or we could add the crown. What do you think? Look at that. What did that take? 10 minutes. Done. I may add more. I'm not sure. You guys like the crown? Now, of course, we'll put waxes on this. Or do we like the heart? Put your vote in the comments. Let me look. I think I'm kind of going for the crown myself. I think. Crown. Wendy says crown. I think so too. Here's my thing. We can add another portion because we like to use our stencils, every bit of it, bits and pieces. I can add this little portion right here. Let's see, I can add that right there, which would look fabulous. In fact, I think I will. Or I can add, this is the Hearts of Fire stencil. And every time I say this, it makes me want to break out into that Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Hearts of Fire. All right. Too small, but I don't mind this for the side. I don't mind this for the side. Can you see how I've taped off just that little bit? There's so much meat on this stencil. Crown for sure. Yeah, I think so. There's so much meat on this stencil. And I also taped off a portion of this as well. I think the crown wins. Crown for the win. I think I like this for the sides and that other piece for the bottom. Yeah, let's do this for the sides. Again, I've taped off what I'd like. I'm adding this right in between. There is a link in the bottom, Maggie. All right. That looks like it's about evenly spaced. If it's not, you guys, I'm not really going to worry about it. It's just paint. Yes, this says I'm God's masterpiece. So now my brush has really, look at that. There's almost nothing there. So we're going to go back in with our paint. And we're going to, what? Offload, offload, offload. Can you see from the first one to the last one, there's still a lot of paint in there, and you want to move your brush, kind of like do the little dance on your paper, because that's what's gonna, this is what's gonna move that paint around into your bristles, okay? Again, the number one problem for bleed through is that it is not offloaded correctly. See, much better, much better. So there's hardly any paint. And I do need to tape this section off right here. Hey, Jules. All right, we don't want this. So not only do you need stencils, you need a good brush and you need a roll of painter's tape. And now I always stand up when I stencil. Hardly any paint. If I'm not getting enough paint, I have two choices. Let it dry, go back in again, or use just a little bit more pressure. So I'm going to add just a little bit more pressure. Like that. What do you think? Just a little something, something. Let's add another one here. So now you're really making a custom design. When you're mixing stencils like this, it is truly just a one-of-a-kind thing. Okay, you ready? One more time. A little bit more pressure, because look at that. I have hardly any paint on me. Hardly any. But by applying a little bit more pressure on my brush, could I add more paint? I could. But I could also do this and get away with it. I'm okay if it's a little bit lighter. It does not have to be the same intensity. You know, because here's the thing. When you're doing work like this, it's handmade. Handmade is never perfect. Never perfect, okay? So you want there to be I don't want to say imperfections, but you want it to look handmade. If you look at artisans who, say for example, who do jewelry, it's never perfect. If you want perfect, buy produced items. Okay. Yes, these are my original designs, and so far the two that I've used are from the new release. I want to add a different one here. Perfectly Imperfect, that's right, Kim. And I think this one we're going to use, again, that same Baroque corners. There is so much meat on this stencil. I think we're going to use the Baroque corners on this. I just can't decide which way I want it. I want that crown going up, or if I want that crown going down. Let me think. Could go either way, actually. I think the other way is better. All right, so now I'm removing my tape. And pre-made board, Hobby Lobby, 40% off, maybe even 50 because it was spring. Just a little zhuzhing with a stencil here and there. And, you know, bingo pachingo, you have a whole new design. No one else is going to have this. We go here. I'm loving that there. Do I want to put another one there? Because I am going to put the crown over it, and I'm thinking it might impede. So I'm thinking just to add the crown there. Let me look at that. I think that's good just like it is. I've got to heat this up just a little bit. Just heat that up a little bit because when I cast it, this is number 113 in case you're wondering. We do have a whole section of pre-made molds, but we're not going to talk about that because it's all about the stencils today, right? But I am going to heat this up just a little bit so that I can get it to lay down flat. Just the crown. So here's another thing you can do, and I'm on the fence about this. My plan was to stencil, because I did paint this area. My plan was to stencil a part of that border. Let's see. I could totally do that. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. We have time. I do have magical stencil fingers. You guys, you can do this. It just takes a little bit of practice. Trust me when I tell you, you can do this. All right, offload, offload, offload. Yeah, I think we'll do just the crown, but I think we're going to offload a little bit more. A little bit more. You can see I'm taking a lot of that paint off. When I get to where it's just very light like this, this one is called Classic Borders, and the brush is a 1 1/4. This is what's persnickety because I'm having to hold it. There's really no place. So this is a bit adventurous to do on a live. Yes, there is an auction coming up, for sure. So I'm just going to go super light. What's nice about this border is that it has all these little dots, which could be considered registration marks, because you can end and start wherever you like. And I'm going to just go very, very lightly because I don't really have a stable surface. I'm holding this up on its side. It's not super stable. It's kind of, if I'm going to have any bleed through, it would probably be on this, because it's not stable. It really isn't. It's actually moving as I'm stenciling it. I can tape at each end, but there's no place for this to be taped. There is no place. It's making no sense, but the board isn't big enough, but that's okay. I'm just going to do very, very lightly. And this may actually get a little bit of bleed through because I'm not really steady. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. And actually it was fine. So now I'm going to line this up here. Let's see where I want to do this. I'm trying to think if I'll get the whole thing. No, I think what I may do, persnickety. It's persnickety. Sorry guys, I'm concentrating. I will go back in and answer your questions afterwards. And then we have to save time to do a giveaway. All right, so I'm not loading up any more paint. And we're gonna go back in. This thing is just janking around. It's okay though. It's okay, you guys. I don't take myself too seriously. What's the worst that can happen? It looks terrible and I paint it over again. It's no big whoop. And I think that's good enough. Okay. A little bit on the end, which I really can't hold. This is quite the adventure here. Okay. Do we want to go all the way around? We probably do. Let's do one more here. Sometimes what I do is I actually, instead of adding more paint, I actually go back into this little section. Would it be easier to spray? For sure it would be. I wasn't planning on doing this, Molly, so I don't actually have my adhesive here, believe it or not, because, you know, that's just kind of how it is. You don't always have what you need when you need it when you're live. So I'm just going to try my best, and it's going to be okay. Everything's gonna be all right. This is classical borders, and I do want just not a lot, and that's way too much. But let's get just a little bit more paint. And get rid of some of that there. And then Offload, offload, offload. You see how I'm just doing that little shakety shake on there? And what that's doing is it's actually adding that paint to all those bristles at the top. So you should never dip so much paint in this that your bristles are getting into what's called the ferrule of the brush. You can see all of my brushes, the ones I've had for years, they never have paint all the way up at the top. That paint will never move to the bottom of your brush, your bristles, and that would definitely be wasted paint. All right, so we're going to offload a little bit more because it's still way too much. A little bit more now. Right? We have to be resourceful around here. Nothing is off limits. Shirts. So once your paint is starting to move, it starts getting more faded, then you can apply a little bit more pressure. Maria's sewing. She got a new machine. I'm so jealous in a good way. I've been wanting an embroidery machine for so long. I just don't know where I'd put it. I just recently got a glass grinding machine. We're going to be making some broken china jewelry, and I'm getting ready to get a wet saw for jewelry. So I don't know where I'd put another machine. I already have 2 machines. It's not like I don't have a sewing machine. I've got a serger and a straight stitch. Actually, I have 2 sergers and 2 straight stitch. The eyes of my shirt are peeking over your project. Oh, how funny. Oh, that is funny. I see that. Hi, Lori. If you're not following Diva Designs page, I would love for you. You just tap that screen and it should be a follow button option on there. We'll be here every other Saturday. I'll be here with you. And we are going to have some opportunities for you to meet some of our other retailers and affiliates. We'll be doing little mini marathons, probably once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks. It just depends on if we can plan everybody. But you will definitely see me every other Saturday. And you know what? I really like this light like that. It's just a whisper. Just a whisper. You love your FOF? You cut your ceramic stones in my sink under running water with a Dremel. That's awesome. Well, we're doing china. So it's a little more delicate. But so we've got 2 sides done. We have 2 more to go. And I want to save us some time to do a giveaway. So if you shared last week's video of our new release, your name is in my little bag there. Yes, I've done canvas. I've done canvas. I've done jackets. I've done pants. In fact, maybe next time we're together, I will wear my stencil pants. We actually did in our membership group an entire month of textiles, and we stenciled on everything. Everything and anything. They added decoupage paper. You can add decoupage paper and stencils. All right, I'm really offloading a lot. So the discount code would be your, if you are signed up and receiving loyalty points on our website, that would be where you would put it. My private members, that's where you would put it. My affiliates who have links. I just read that comment. You use a wet saw for China Place. Yeah, I need a wet saw. I don't have one, and I know that I need one. So that's next on my list. Where am I going to put it? I actually saw a really nice small one. Believe it or not, I saw a nice tiny, like a tabletop one. I'm just not sure how long that would last, like the quality of it. But I love learning new things. All right, we're almost done, you guys. We are almost done. So this is a very light whisper on here. You could add a little bit of bling on there. That would be super cute. If you did want, that's a great question, Susie. If you wanted it darker, definitely do a second coat. I don't want to take away from the main picture, so I really just want to whisper on the sides. Just a little something to look at. I mean, you could also put some sticky tape bling on the sides. That would be super cute. But I really just want a little bit of a whisper. We have one more to do. And then we're done. We're going to do our giveaway. So excited for that. And you're going to get to pick any of our Diva Design stencils. There are over 30 of them in our collection. So you have plenty to choose from. And I think I may need just a little bit more paint. Interesting, here's a little piece of history. This particular stencil right here was part of a previous collection, and it was called Giselle, after one of my dogs, and it came with a corner. That particular stencil is no longer in production, but I really loved this, and I love the fact that because it has all these little dots, you can extend that. You can extend that as long as you wanted to. And then you add one of the corners from the Baroque corners. So these two stencils were definitely created to go together. And it definitely helps stenciling on a on a stable surface. Ta-da! There are 5 new stencils, Judy. So, Baroque corners, borders. So we've totally customized a pre-made sign. Let's add a little bit of wax paste. I think we're going to be using the black gold. So it's not so bright. I'm using the Finnabair Black Gold, but you can use any brand that you like. This is just a metallic wax paste. So did we decide what we're going to do in 2 weeks? I think a lot of you said raised stencils. A lot of you said shadowed stencils. So just bringing in all that little detail. Add a second layer. So I'm trying to dry brush this. I'm really just using very, very little. Can you use? Yes, you can. You can. It's water based, so I would say probably no. That's a good question, though. Raised. You guys would like to see raised stencils. I almost feel like I'm trying to get so little, I'm not getting enough. Charlotte, if you go to our website, vintageretailtherapy.com, it's called Home and Lifestyle Group. We meet twice a month. And we do all kinds of things. Mixed media is my jam, but we do a lot of jewelry. We've done some soldering. We've done textiles. You can always private message me as well if you need a link. We'd love to have you. All right, I think that's enough. I really just want it very, very subtle. Let's get some type on quick and thick. All right, let me throw this in my water bath. So you can see I hardly got any, look at that, it's not even halfway up. This stencil brush is going to stay clean forever, you guys. You don't need to use a lot of paint. In fact, if you do use a lot of paint, you're really not going to have good success. So you want to make sure that you offload, offload, offload. If you get nothing else from today, offload, offload, offload. Down for a minute. It says, I am God's masterpiece, Ephesians 2:10. Look how easy and simple that was. There's just a little bit of detail on the sides. You could totally leave that off, or you can paint it and you can throw bling on there, whatever you like. It really just make it personal and make it your own. All right, let's do our giveaway. Who's ready? Who's ready for a Diva giveaway? You can, if you seal, Jeanette, if you seal your project, are you supposed to, Barbara, you're a funny girl. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. easy, you guys. This is so easy. Literally took less than an hour, and that's only because I stopped and was talking along the way. But you can easily do this in 15 minutes. You can, if you wanted to, you know, it would be good if we had more time. If you wanted to add a little bit of distress in there, that could be super easy to do. All right, so drum roll. Let's do this. We have all your names here. And the winner is Karen Boxwell. Is she here? Karen Boxwell, are you here? We're going to wait just a minute. If she is not here, we're going to go on to the next name. Karen Boxwell. I just love that corner stencil. And not just because I designed it. It really is good. Karen Boxwell. Going once, going twice. Next. Karen Macy. Karen Macy. Going once, going twice. Come on, Karen Macy. Karen Macy. Kay loves the stencil. Thank you. No, have to be present. Karen Macy. Do we have the first Karen Boxwell here? Karen Boxwell, speak up. Okay, Karen Macy. I don't know. Karens ain't showing up. They're missing out today. You're here. Are you Karen Macy or Karen Boxwell? Crafty Karen. Which one? Which one? Let me know in the comments. Because now we have two Karens. We have two Karens. First one was Karen Boxwell. Karen Macy, which one are you? The first Karen is here. Karen Boxwell, is that you? Crafty Karen? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Let me write that on there. Please message our Facebook business page. You may want to go to vintageretailtherapy.com to look at all 30 Diva designs. Totally Karen Day. And then message me and let me know which one you would like and also your mailing address. So, Crafty Karen is Karen Boxwell. Who knew? Okay, winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you for episode 3, 2 weeks from now. Again, go ahead and tap your screen. There should be an option to follow if you are not, and I would love for you to follow. Ciao for now, ladies. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.